Outer Orange.
Today we're going to be talking about the new set, the BOV set, the aggressive set, the most intense, probably power creep set this year so far, outside of probably Levy and Raziel. We're talking about the new set 7 format that we're about to go into for Vanguard. So let's go ahead and get started. We got a lot to talk about. Got Dexander up and running, so let's go ahead and do it. Alright fam, welcome as always to Dexander. As you can see, this chart is pretty wild. This is like early weeks, and then as you get later and later, you can see the shift happening as Levy kind of goes up, but we also see BOV just gets bigger and bigger and more love addresses basically start to get the format. Now this format is very BOV centric heavy. This is before the ban list. There is a JP ban list that basically bans like Vanguard, which I think hits the deck a little bit, but not enough, you know, still very present deck. But we're only seeing love address, Odium, Raziel, and Stoicheia is the most popular deck. So this is sort of what the format's looking like. I don't know if this is exactly to the T what we're going to be seeing over on our side, since we are missing a couple decks. We don't have some of the collab decks, so it's gonna be a little bit different. It's probably might be even worse because I feel like we have even less decks that come back that can combat BOV, and we are going into Worlds format with this type of format, so it's going to be interesting to see how good or how bad this format's going to be looking like. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the deck lists and see what's going on. Next, of course, we're going to start with Dragon Empire. This one has the most, but yeah, we do have Overlord. Overlord, they just got a new card. It's this one right here, this card right here. It basically is like an insane card. I know a lot of people are like, we're literally like nuts over how good this card is. So Overlord actually has a chance. Another version of Overlord, like I said, it's very popular. They have like that manga one drop. We don't have it, so might be a second. Here's Java. So if you're into Java, Java's still around, so you guys can play some Java as well. I don't know if it's really that good. Tamayura still standing strong, still somehow has some results. I definitely don't think this deck's very good anymore. It's had absolutely barely any results or any really new support. It did get a couple cards in the last couple sets, like this card right here. But I don't think this deck does enough. Honestly, I think it's a little bit too telegraphed now. And we have a lot of BOV, and I mean a lot of BOV. Basically, just you put all the new cards in, you run Cindy, and you can choose to run Shenri, but you really don't need it. But the main thing is you have to have your Vanguards and your Trick Moons. And some people run this guy right here. This is like one of the older card sets. We don't need it. This is the restander. You really do need the restander. It has a new ride lines, so you need to worry about that. And then you do run a little bit of some of the older support, but you actually have some of the newer support as well. So primarily a lot of this deck is new cards, but you can also run some old cards. And also this deck is really strong for multiple reasons. It has guard restrict, it has 5 attacks, it has crit pressure, it board wipes your front row. It also has, I believe, triple drive now on top of that and everything else, and also has a front row power upgrade. So it's just very, very annoying. It's a very hard deck to fight into. It is definitely like a tier 0 deck. I would say probably the closest we've gone to tier 0 in a while. So very, very strong deck. I don't like to really coin something tier 0 until like I officially like see it in action, like in the English side, but it is performing real on JP, so it's probably as strong as it is. They hit it pretty quickly over there. They're probably gonna have a similar hit happening over here, probably after Worlds. So here's some more BOV. This one's running a little bit of the order package, so decided to kind of include that in. And Shenri, people are probably running different stuff just to kind of even counteract the mirror. That's probably something to keep in mind. There's so much BOV. As you can see, it is probably one of the most popular played decks, and there was quite a really pretty good tournament happening where it wasn't diversity cut, so obviously there's gonna be a lot of BOVs in it. Here's another one, again, just a lot of BOV. They're also running the Regalis piece to just find the cards faster. You really need to find your Vanguards and your Trick Moons pretty fast to kind of play the game. This one's running 4 Cindy, just keeping it nice and, you know, just streamlined. I like a deck that's streamlined, so it's 4 of everything, do the thing. So anyway, we won't talk about BOV too much. It's a pretty potent deck. Everyone kind of knows what it does. It's basically it does what it used to do, just better and faster. Doji is actually not that bad in my opinion. I actually think this deck is playable. Don't know how playable it is in BOV. Tell you as a standalone deck, this deck actually performs. And Fanless, they updated their main grade 2 to 2 copies. It's this right here, and actually you can see this person is playing with 2 right here. So it did get a little bit of a buff. It's nothing crazy, but this deck still can pop off right away. It's still Doji at the end of the day. That's some Gandiva. Actually, I think this deck's kind of spicy. Like, I low-key have been playing this deck. I don't agree with the 6 searchers, but I definitely think it should be playing 4. This guy's running the Restander promo as well. This is the Eugene promo that also can work with Gandiva. And then I just think this deck's actually like genuinely, I don't think this deck's bad. The Eugene support in this deck was like really, really hard. It has a little bit of a shield issue. I think that's really its issue, is that it can randomly die if it doesn't draw the right cards, because you don't have any real access to find your PGs. You just have to draw them. The deck does draw a lot, but sometimes your PGs will just go to damage randomly. Happened to be a bunch of times because I've been playing this deck pretty religiously, I would say. In terms of like actually taking a deck, I've been taking this one, and then casually I've been playing everything else. Like I think like that's basically kind of been my concises because I'm out of VCS format, so I've just been having fun. But in between all of it, I really haven't. I got tired of Levy. I got a little saturated from playing it during BCS season, so I took a break from it. So I've been playing Gandiva instead. Here's another version of it. This one where Japan does have this back at 2, so that's another thing you can do. You can also run the Eugene draw card engine and main phase. I'm not the biggest fan of this card just because of shield issues, but it does help you find PGs. Maybe like 1 or 2 copies isn't too bad. I can't find space for it because I'm running more 1-drops. I'm running like Shenri and all that kind of stuff, and there's more grade 1s like the Searcher. So I just utilize that more over this. But maybe it's the wrong play. I don't know. It's I've been having fun with it the way it is, but to each their own. Here's another variant. I do like this ride line probably the best. I definitely recommend this as the main ride line. This really helps. This really helps with counterblast issues early on. You can't really get denied. You can still do your thing. You can check OT and still play the game type of stuff. So I'm a big fan of this card, especially since on turn 2 you basically always counterblast for this effect to get all your searching to go off. This is the Mask Searcher. This finds both your mask and it finds your Gandiva all in one card. This card's absolutely insane. It also gets the Dragon Tree token. Absolutely broken card. I freaking love that card. I really like this list. It's not the 1-drop list, but it's still really good. It runs basically everything. Actually, it is. This is Shenri. This is Shenri right here. So it runs 4 Shenri. Everything's at 4. Everything that's important is at 4 basically. The only downside is having this card's insane. The only downside to it is that shieldless. Like this is probably my early list. Like this looks almost identical to what I ran as an early Gandiva list. I would say it hasn't changed too much from this. I think the only really change is I bumped this down and I put in the grade 1 that searches the check top 7 for a grade 3 unit. So that's the only difference that's really happened. Share Nui has been hit so many times, and I actually don't think the deck's bad. I really don't. It's definitely like a tier 2 deck now with all the hits, but it's actually still performing. Got some Varga. Varga's just being Varga. It's just doing Varga things. Honestly, it hasn't really changed. Some people are running the Pride Cyclers now. This is the set that gets the Pride Cyclers as well, so something kind of keep in mind. We haven't really been seeing them because we're in Dragon Empire still, but basically they're just cards that let you get Persona shields, and the Persona shields is basically extra shield they have access to, and they're also aggressive. They have like extra power on them as well. So yeah, very interesting. But I don't know how this works in terms of Varga, if you really need these or not, but it seems like they're being played. We could check to see if there's another list that's playing them. I know the other nations are definitely playing them, but this one maybe not so much because you still kind of want this card, right? That card's still really good. It lets you draw, I get through your deck a little bit faster, but I guess it's just up to you what your player preference is. You can also still run the energy cycler, so you have options. I'm talking about these cards in particular because the rest of the deck is the same. You still want your Varga Searcher, you still want your Restander guy, you still want the bouncing no intercept thing, you want the grade 3 that lets you find more cards. Like you still want to run those cards, right? So everything after that just comes down to like what you want your grade 2 slots to be like that isn't this card. So let's go over to Catholic Blaze. I can't really look at this too much. There's a promo that we don't have, so this is kind of a little rough on our side. I will say I tried this deck without the promo and just want to see what it was doing, and I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of this deck. It has an insane ride line. I think it's a Vanguard, it's just kind of bad. Vergilia, this deck is getting a lot of support and is getting even more support. And this isn't even Vergilia. This is actually Overlord with the Vergilia ride line, which is perfectly fine. It still checks top 7. It just doesn't check your whole deck. You can still actually hit a grade 2 off of these. So you can hit the Bellicosity and then draw 2 and then put 1 to Soul, all that kind of fun stuff. So you can still go down that route. But that was interesting to see something else. We have Dragon Connector. What the heck is this? Oh, I forgot about this guy. It's another weird Dragon Empire. If you're out there a fan of these decks, like the weirder ones, here you go. Here's a whole list dedicated to you. Like, have a blast. And then we have Sophia Regala. This is, oh right, this is the Tree deck. So this is, Tree is pretty popular, or showing a lot of popularity on the English side. I'm noticing a lot of people have been cooking Tree. They really like the way it's played and everything like that. It's like, got a little bit of a more lean and cleaner engine than the old Tree. So definitely something to check out. This Blitz is insane. It gives you so much shield in one go. So I don't know if you need to play this specifically in Dragon Empire. I've seen some people think try out, believe it was, I'm trying to remember, I think it was Stoicheia. I don't remember, it might have been Stoicheia. You prefer Dragon Empire because you have the Verena in there, but I swear I've seen like some other nations also play with this, so that's also really fun. And look at this, like it's actually showing some popularity, so people are definitely trying it out. And this one runs the mask. You can find the Mask Searcher with this. That's so funny that they're running it like that. You can, and then you have the shield here. So I think some people are cooking with this. Like I actually don't think it's I don't think it's that bad. I think you just you know, you have to live. You have to live long enough. All right, enough Dragon Empire. Let's go to see what's going on in Keter. Now, Keter's a little bit weird because they have some cards that we don't, but that's okay. Here's Blasters. I've been hearing some really good stuff about blasters because we have this one drop. We have this grade 1. This is the one that's locked to like encounter cards. It allows you to check top card. You can stack it and all this fun stuff. So people are saying that this definitely buffed up the deck a little bit. Don't know if it's enough to make the deck like any more viable than it is, but it's definitely better than it was, I guess is the best way to put it. And then we have some Thegra here. This deck, I don't know if it's really changed, to be honest with you. I feel like it's kind of the same. I'm seeing a bunch of cyclers here. We got Maple, obviously, because the deck utilizes Maple. We got the Keter top 5 checker. Got the little order searcher here, which is good because the Vanguard does have really good orders. I see Gabwelius has been added to the list, just like you can proc it, so have fun with Gabwelius in your decks. That's also cool. Got some Graham Grace. I actually really like this deck. I think this deck has some potential. Just it's still a little bit weaker than some of the other decks, but I definitely think this is like entering like it's like a little bit above casual. It's just slightly better than casual in my opinion, just because of all the pressure it has. I think that's really good for it. And then we have Ezel. Now Ezel is about to get some new support, so I would, if you're an Ezel player, just hold on to your stuff. You are about to get like a new dude. You're about to get a new homie, so stick around for the new homie. You're gonna have a blast. You're gonna have a new guy, and you can. I would highly recommend pick up this promo right here. Just look up the promos, find this guy. Like this is gonna become a pretty good card. It's actually can be also played in premium, so I recommend looking into this dude right here. Just FYI, these prices are going up, so if you already have everything, yay. If you don't, oh my god. I hope you're not an Ezel fan if you're watching this. Here's some Luard. I still think this deck cooks. Unironically, there's been a bunch of good like Keter generics that have been coming out that aren't even like the popular ones, and you can just throw them into the deck and have a party. But it's the decks look about the same, but they're actually, you can cook further with it. I love this dog too. This dog's insane. This dog is so good. I play this in the deck it's supposed to be in, which is undercover, and it's just a blast. Bouncing this back to your hand over and over again, and having 10k shield is the greatest thing ever. With Raziel, I don't think Raziel has changed too much, honestly. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be like, I'm not trying to skip over if you really like Raziel, but in all honesty, if you've been following Raziel at all, you would know that the deck hasn't really changed. It's been about the same. If you're new, just FYI, here's a Raziel deck for you. They all look almost identical, so you have a lot to work with. There's plenty of them in here. You can check out Deck Sander if you really want to deep dive on some Raziel gameplay. Some people are running like the bind package. I think just the regular package is fine too, which is basically a hostage. You have the access to the Pride Cyclers if you want to try them out or not. Like I think you just kind of experiment with what you want your grade 2 slots to look like. Cerulean kind of digging around in here. We got some Alden. Alden has got this grade 2. I think she's already out for us because this card's already out, but running the Pride Cycler as well is just a little helper. Alden is very aggressive going first, but I do think it's a little weak this set, so there's that. Next we have Lyle. So this is our Morta. She has got some new cards. I don't really truly believe in this deck, but I think she has a future where she'll be a lot stronger. I think we're still gonna get some more cards revealed. So if you're holding on to this, I would probably keep holding on to it. It's probably gonna go up. And then yeah, I do think she's not anything insane right now, even with this new grade 2 that's been added. Let's go read her real quick just so we can see what we're working with here. We're about to get this, so at least I think we are. We're about to get this. So she says if you would play some Vanguard, if you have Vanguard greater with Lyle, his card name, you may pay the cost of +1, like a top 7. She's up to 1 grade 3. Card with Lyle is card name, or a Holy Dragon Gabwelius. Reveal add to you. So she's a Gabwelius and a Lyle searcher, which is pretty good because you want them. It says during a turn, if you have Vanguard with grade 3 greater with Lyle as card name, it gets +5k. If you have a Holy Dragon in your Vanguard or in your bind zone, it gets +10k stats. So basically, she's meant for your Gabwelius and your Lyle, which is really good. So she's meant for the deck. That's also really good. What I know out of this deck is that there's that one grade 2 that for some reason this deck isn't running. This grade 2 is like nuts. It carries your whole deck. You have to fight for this for your life. You don't lose this card. It's just way too good. Lemonberry, I'm not gonna look into these too much. We still haven't gotten these. I don't think we're getting them. And if we are, it's gonna be super late. Here is the Hound Blazer deck. This is basically a Hound deck, and I'm actually really excited for this one. I think this deck is super cool. They just revealed her on the English version of her side, like what she looks like as the English cards, since we're getting these cards kind of soon. She's great. Also, they're running this card. This card's nuts. It gives 10k power to like your units. Then I believe they retire those and stuff like that, so it's really good. This is a Keter generic that I feel every Keter main should have. It's so free. You could just abuse it in like almost any deck. It's great. Another tree deck, but this one is the Keter edition for it. So here's the Keter version. If you're like a big tree fan, there's plenty to work with here. I think this is probably the most open-ended generic deck you can work with. You can kind of throw anything into it and it'll probably work, so that's really exciting about it. Go to Brandt game, we got some Seraph Snow going on. Seraph Snow has been kind of the same build with a couple of small changes. So we have the Bond Taking grade 2, which was actually last set's card. And then you notice everything else is basically the same, where we're still running the orange card, that's the citrus. We're still running the card that has the perfect guard. We have the grade 2 Keter card, the grade 1 that gets your top 5 checks. And then we have Muna, the Bride Fixer for the grade 4. everything else is standard. So I think this is probably one of those decks that barely changes, but just small little additions as you get through. And yeah, that's basically it. I'm gonna stop with Prison. I think Prison stops basically there. It doesn't change too much. Ava. Now Ava's been interesting because a lot of people consider Ava to be like a counter pick into Bob. I don't know how true that is. I do agree that I think it's easier for Ava to deal with it, but at the same time I do think that still isn't like a perfect one-to-one match. Like I think it's still less in your favor, and do be Blob still takes over. There's also the issue that Ava also still has to face other decks too. It's not, you know, just Bob that you're gonna see, so something you gotta keep in mind. But I don't think this deck's bad. I think this new grade 2 is very helpful. It makes more magic numbers. You have really good aggressive going first turn. If you won the dice roll, you're kind of chilling. You have a lot to work with. This grade 1's really good. There's definitely a lot to this grade 1 basically just raw power, just a lot of raw power. You can place it down, just get power. You'll notice that some people got off the monster build. This one has the monster build, but some people have been getting off the monster build and kind of going more pure. Also keep in mind you could also run the Pride Cyclers, which I've seen some builds also run the Pride Cyclers with Ava as well. It kind of gives you a good grade 2 turn. So there's also that. I think Velstra is a deck that hasn't changed for this upcoming set, but you do have access to the Pride Cycler, so there's that. Everything else looks about the same. I don't think it's gotten too much support from the looks of it, or not enough support that you'd want to play. You'd probably still play the old support. Messiah should be basically the same deck. I think it's just up to your discretion how you want to have your grade 1s and 2s be, but I think ideally you kind of just keep it the samey. As you can tell here, it's pretty samey. It's just Messiah being Messiah. This is probably the one deck that's not going to change for a bit until we get some more direct lock support, if that happens anytime soon. But it's definitely still a monster of a deck. I don't think it's like a tier 1 deck, but it's definitely strong. I definitely would be fearful of this deck. Its late game is pretty insane. Here's some Vanguard. Now there is some people cooking Vanguard. There is a new order coming, a new set order coming. I think it's this one right here actually. So that makes this deck a little bit better. So be on the lookout for Vanguard. Now this is the bad deck. The bad deck is becoming more popular in JP, which is kind of a problem. JP is starting to put this deck in like S tier position, like legitimately. Like I've been seeing TOS kind of come up, and it's like always, you know, it's always like with like whatever set that's been dropping, and with this new set that just dropped for them, they actually deem this deck pretty high up there. So yeah, this deck is starting to kind of be a little spooky. Maybe it needs to start being put on a radar. It's technically on a radar, but no one's like really dealing with it. They really should fix this Smo Flash card. This really needs to be fixed. It makes Vanguard so much less fun because this deck exists, and it sucks because I love Bat. I love Bat so much, but we are definitely not in a healthy position with it. This is the Technician build, and some are running this grade 3. I don't actually know what this does. This is interesting. It's like a new card. I have to check that out. I don't know what that card does. And then we have Dayusha. Now Dayusha actually got first place recently at one of the bigger events, so this deck could be kind of a menace. Because if you go first and go second at the same time, so you're basically always taking the dub on the dice roll. And if you care about the dice roll that much, then this is a great deck to play if you're worried about dice rolls or anything like that, because this deck does not care at all if it goes first or second. It is just a menace. Once it gets to grade 3, it's swinging, and if they check triggers, like, oh my god, this deck can be really scary. Deck does a lot as well. I actually see a world where this deck's actually pretty viable. It does have some issues, like sometimes it just doesn't see what it wants to see and it gets a little stuck, but it's pretty consistent, does what it likes to do, and its only downside is it does the same thing over and over again, and your opponent can kind of telegraph that. And if you're playing it to Levy, it's a little bit more annoying because the marker setup is a little bit harder to deal with, but your Vanguard centric decks, sometimes you just don't care. Papadio, I think this deck's a little fake right now, but I could be wrong. It looks like I got a new guy here, so maybe there's something more to it that I don't know about. I just don't think this deck's that crazy, but I see they got the Persona Shields now playing this new grade 1, so they got a little bit more sauce added to them, so maybe there's something going on here. I just don't think the deck is doing enough. Maybe if it gets a 4th attack, it'll be better, which is kind of scary to think about. I think a 4th attack on this deck would be really scary, because this deck feels like Hexa Orb, where it's like the three attacks are really strong, but it's just 3 attacks type of thing. Your opponent has to be weary of those 3 attacks, but that's all it really is. This is black. This is we don't have this. I really wish we did, because it's super freaking cool. And then this is the new Brandt deck that runs a bunch of the birds. It's basically just different. It's different Gravidia. That's the best way to put it. You like put all these dudes out. They all multi-attack, but you know it's like Gravidia having meteors, but you have access to these. This deck seems really cool. I'm actually really excited for this one as well, because it's like a deck winner as well. So I'm really excited to play that. I think it's not too bad. Got some Dark States. Dark States got a lot of 1-0s. We got a Bruce deck here. We have a Greedon deck. This deck feels awful to play now. I was coping on this deck for so long. I've officially stopped coping. I've accepted that this deck needs help. It's definitely there. I've been trying to play this deck for every single set. Every time we get a new dude, I try it out. I hate it. It's just getting worse and worse every set. We got Jeweled. This deck also, I think, is starting to kind of hit its rough edges. It's not terrible, but it's definitely I can't take a dub on this deck. I've been really struggling on it, but I don't think it's bad. I think you gotta play very carefully into it, and I think it can be a menace. We got some Harry. I think Harry is extremely undiscovered still to this day. I think this deck is super underrated, and I think it's actually very good. Very underrated deck. I actually sometimes I think it's better than Rose, but Rose has a better defense engine. This has a better like, aggression in my opinion. I just think this deck's more aggressive, and I love the aggression under it. And I think there's been so many different builds. Like even me and my boyfriend, we've been building so many different decks, and it's just such a monster. I think it's just the soul. The fact that he's a board empty. There's so many things this deck does that's really cool. A very slept on deck. And we're actually getting Shenri like right now. It should be coming out like either I think tomorrow or like at the end of the week. It might be coming out at the same time that the set drops or something like that. It's coming out soon. So yeah, be on the lookout. This new Shenri clone is like nutso. So we get that as well. We get some Jet. I think Jet also wants to run the Shenri clone potentially. Maybe, I don't know. This version doesn't actually. This Jet list looks like a set 6 list. Maybe even a set 5 list. It's so old. It's just running all the old cards. At this point, they're old. It's crazy to say that these cards are old now, but they are. That's the Alma Jester. Now, Alma Jester does have a new unit this set, so this is something interesting to look out for. I'm actually pretty excited to see how this one works. I haven't actually tested this yet. I'm excited to test it. I did play around with it, I think, day 1 when it first released, and then I kind of took a break. I was like, I'll just wait. So there is some sauce in this. It feels okay. It's a little rough on the edges, but it feels okay. But it's definitely a good deck to mess around with, especially if you already have the cards. But like I said, basically you have the new girl here. The deck doesn't change too much. You have the new girl, and then you have the dog, and then you have this grade 1 right here, and then everything you've already owned, you basically play. As long as you have access to this grade 1, this is a very playable deck. If you don't have access to either of these grade 1s, it kind of hurts. It's a little rough on the edges. We have also Blagmire. Blagmire should be the same in this set, but he gets really good next set. So this one's still kind of an older version of Blagmire from the looks of it, but keep on lookout. The new one comes out, and he's a lot better. We have the dolls. Now the dolls are getting new support cards. I'm really excited for this one. Actually, this one still has the old ones, but in the next set it's gonna get new cards. But the dolls are actually really good. They just lose to Raziel. Like this deck is like so close. Here's the promo. So some are running the promo that they have access to. We don't have it yet. We're not good enough for it yet, but we will have it soon. But I low-key think this deck's actually like good. Like especially if Raziel gets hit, like for us, I think this deck is completely viable. It's the only matchup that it really struggles into, because they farm too fast, and then you can't out farm it because your numbers aren't as good, basically. And the promo fixes it a little bit, so there's also that to keep in mind. So here's the promo as well in this version. So hopefully we get the promo soon, because I think the promo's kind of nuts. Next we have Odium. The Odium got a bunch of new cards, mainly the new grade 2 that it got, which is this one right here, that helps the deck a lot more. So something to keep on the lookout. I think this is going to be a pretty viable deck going into next set. Definitely going to be on the lower end of the top dogs, which the top dogs are just really insane, but it's also still going to be really good. It did get new support. It is good for the deck, so something to keep in mind. You have more consistency with your order pieces now, so you can actually play the deck and not have to stress out over bricking as much, especially if you damage your good pieces. So I think this deck definitely gets like a consistency upgrade, and that's really good for it, because then it's more consistent in going first, which means it'll be stronger going first. I see this one's running the new grade 1 as well, so that's also interesting. Next we have Zorga. Zorga's about the same in terms of the building, but I do think it has some level of play. I do think you need to be running Mask. I think you just Nadir is not enough, but I will say, since there aren't as many Doji players, you can probably get away with playing Zorga this set if you really want to, because you don't really care about your board being touched against Bav, which I think is a really big thing to kind of keep in mind of, is that you don't care about your board. Now see, this one's running the Mask. I really recommend the Mask. I think you really need it in this deck. But yeah, you can kind of toolbox it out. I really can't like say which version of Zorga is better. There's just so many different ways to play this deck. Some people play more defense, some play more offensive. I think it's a Bav you probably wants to play with like a deck thinning mechanic, where you just deck thin and just keep getting perfect guards back to your hand, or 50k shield, specifically the OT, so you can kind of guard easier their like guard restrict turns. So there's definitely room for this deck. I actually think this deck has some level of like fighting it out, because the numbers just get so outrageous mid to late game. And I also think the Mask package is also really good. Some Roroa, I think this deck is not very strong. I think it has a moment or two where it's like insanely powerful, and then it randomly loses. Now I will say, into Stridex, this deck's really good, but you have to be fighting Stridex all day, and we are not in a Stridex format. But in a Stridex format, this deck's good. Some Maelstrom. Maelstrom's actually really good, but it's kind of like a top 8 kind of good. Like, it's one of those decks where you can get to top 8 with it, and then you'll just die to yourself usually. Usually just want to see your pieces, or you won't have the shield and you'll just die. But this deck on its own is actually very powerful. The restands are really good, the buff, the guard restrict. There's so many good things about this deck. My boyfriend's been playing this deck a lot recently, and he's even been playing its like Levy and stuff like that, and he's been winning just because randomly they just don't have what they need and they just die. It's just one of those things. Like, but you really need to see like all your cyclers to kind of really play the game. But the deck's not too bad. Definitely up there. Really, I'm not the craziest fan of the new version, but I don't hate it. So there's that. Here's another Maelstrom list for all of you Maelstrom players out there to look at. Let's go over to Leonor. Leonor, it's kind of funny to see Leonor around because she hasn't changed at all. There's been nothing new coming out for her, or nothing that's worth running. As you can see, this is exactly like the list has been. Nothing has changed. This is like, I think, almost to the T the list that I took to BCS, because I played Leonor and Levy during BCS season, so it looks almost identical. Got some Levy. Now Levy did get a new card this set. It got a new grade 2. That is a awful deck list. There's like thing to see there. At least the mat was cool. So there's a new grade 2 you can run, and this list isn't even running it. It's the funny, they kept it exactly as is. Why change something when you don't have to? There's gotta be at least one list right in the grade 2, right? Yeah, here it is. This one lets you find Levy basically, so that's all you're changing. Like, this person chose to run Ghost Chase, which is interesting, but for the most part, most people are running the, oh right, this might have the restriction on it with the Charm Net. This might have this might be with the ban list here. But anyway, long story short, you're kind of keeping the deck the same. Even with the ban list, I think this deck's still going to be really good. Here's another version after running also the Counter Charger in here. The deck's core stays the same. It's just up to you what defense options you want to run. We have the Lascaria list. Lascaria, not really sure where this deck stands. It's it feels like it needs more help. Some people really thought that the Persona stuff was really going to push it, which is right here. This is the Pride Cyclers, so that you get the Persona Shield with. Next we have Strawha. I actually think this deck's kind of strong. It had a little bit of a piece issue, but we're actually getting this promo, not right now, but we're getting it like I think in June or something like that. So, but it might be August. I don't remember. We're getting it sometime over the summer. It just got announced. So we're getting this. I think this card really helps this deck. And so with that in mind, I think this will definitely upgrade the power of this deck. I think this deck's actually really good, unironically. You just have to kind of live there, but once it gets there and you're restanding your dudes for the crit pressure, the deck gets really scary. It sometimes can randomly just kill you just because of how aggressive it is, because of the crit pressure, especially going second. You would think like, oh, you're going second, oh no. And then you just ride up and go, okay, well, I'm going to minus your stuff, it's going to be harder to guard, and both my dudes have crits on them, and it just gets really annoying. So it's a pretty hard deck to fight into. I just don't think it's very popular. I actually just got on my cards for this now that I saw we had the grade 2 come out. There's also grade 1 we don't have, but I think even without the grade 1, you can definitely play the deck and do well with it. I actually think it's got some sauce behind it, but I really think we need this grade 2. Night Rose is interesting. I think Night Rose will be pretty viable going into next set, just not enough. I think she's really good. Don't get me wrong. I think she performs well, does a lot of good stuff to her. I just think that we're, as every set comes out, that gets more and more power creep coming in, and it's kind of this deck's getting power crept out, but it's not bad. It's not bad. Definitely a toolboxy deck. It looks like that's the same thing, but yeah, be on the lookout for her. Calliopeia. What is this? Oh, right, this is the aggro. This was the Siren deck. The Siren deck looks really cool. I really recommend picking it up. It should be really cheap overall. You don't need the inlet, in my opinion. You can run it, but I don't think you need it. And then also, this deck is basically just Aquaforce, and if you're big into Aquaforce and dudes restanding, I highly recommend picking up the new Siren deck. It looks really cool. This should be the new manga deck. I've been hearing so many things about this deck, about this blast token, people try to play around it. I have not had a chance to test this deck at all, so I don't know what it does on like exactly. I've read the cards, but I haven't seen them in action yet. But this deck is like pretty new. This is pretty new to the meta, so this one's kind of like it's so everyone's still figuring it out. But I've been hearing a lot of good stuff about this deck, so I'm actually really excited. I hope we get it in time where we can be able to play it and see it in action. So that's really cool. Got some Lyrical. Got an innocent little Clarissa deck. We are getting this promo for us. We just got it, so we have access to a new promo, and she is an Ernst correct name, so maybe this deck is actually usable now, hopefully. Got a Ballista. Actually, this isn't Ballista. This is actually Catgirl. They're just running the Ballista ride line. So this is actually Catgirl. I've been hearing so many good things about Catgirl, especially with the new there's the high 5 order. I think it's this one right here that really helps with this deck. Apparently it makes the deck really strong. I'm not the biggest fan of Catgirl. I just don't really like playing it, but but maybe the new stuff really helps. I've been hearing it's really good for Lyrical Cup. So there's that to keep in mind. And here's Leticia. Pacifica did get a new card. I think it's a grade 2 or something. I don't know if it's this set or next set. I think it's next set that it gets it. From the looks of it, we have this. We have the Pride Cycler you can also run. The Pacifica has an insanely good defensive engine. It just doesn't have a good offensive engine, and I definitely don't agree with this promo. I think this promo is pretty bad, but that's just my personal opinion. Maybe I'm just bad. I don't know. But we do get this new perfume that also could be used. We're gonna get new Kyrie support, like a new Kyrie card too, that will also be abusing this. So keep on the lookout for that as well. I highly recommend picking this up when the new set drops. Carmel's actually pretty good. It's still very strong. It hasn't really changed. but it's very, very strong, in my opinion. Marlene's been actually getting a lot of new support cards, and I'm actually kind of wondering if this deck has any like movement or sauce nowadays. Like it keeps getting cards that help it bounce, restand, all this stuff. Like there's no way it won't get good over time, right? There has to be a world. Restrain, I believe got a new card. It's right here. It's not very used, but you have access to it. I think it's just another card that you can use in her engine. You only play that 2 basically, but you can just upgrade your Curse Rain deck and have fun. It looks like it's doing kind of well. I've seen it running the bottle as well, so there's that. Got our Trezia. This is the deck that everybody wants to play. This is the lock deck. A lot of people are excited about this. I don't think this deck's that bad. I don't think it's insane either. Like I think it's a little gimmicky, but I hear that I guess like a new card in like set 8 that makes it a lot better. So maybe just hold off on it for like a set. But yeah, basically you have like board bouncing lock access, and that's basically what you do with the deck. You just keep recycling the same cards over and over again. Keep telling your opponent, hi, I'm gonna grab my 10k shield and I'm gonna be annoying and all that stuff. That's basically what this deck is. It has a bit of pressure with her. Once your opponent's on grade 3, she has more pressure on her, more crit, more of that kind of fun stuff. But that's basically it. Her late game is pretty good, but it's just she can't really break through Bob from what I've seen. Even though you lock down the circle, Bob still beats it, like in terms of just resources. I think Bob still beats it, but it's not too bad. Like I said, it's definitely a fun deck. It's definitely different, like what most Lyrical decks are. So definitely a cool deck to just try out and have a blast with. Also, it's a very popular unit. Everyone's really enjoying the style of the deck and how she looks. So definitely gonna be an exciting one. That's it for Lyrical actually. So no token, no monster, no shaman. Any Bang Dream? Got a little bit more Morphonica. That's right, Morphonica. I don't know. I don't think we get this set. I think we get a set later, but this deck's actually good in my opinion. Very, very, very good at being defensive and offensive at the same time. Got some new orders. Basically, you have access to another unit of her, and you can kind of like discard more copies. You can rewrite into her, and then you have access to tell your opponent to point their attacks at a different part of the board. And what happens is that you basically protect yourself. You also have access to like resist, all this other stuff. So I actually think this deck's not too bad. It's just hard to play. A little bit of Mygo. What is this? I don't know what this is. I genuinely don't know what this is. There's some kind of unit here. I actually don't know what this is. Someone can tell me below if anyone's been keeping up with Mygo or anything Bang Dream related, what that is. And then we got some Vispo. We don't have Vispo, unfortunately, but looks like they are running the Pride Cyclers in their list. So, you know, looks like it's doing something. We got a little bit of Benny here with the Shunnery and stuff like that. So everything. Koro. We got some BBBBB. BBB right here. I saw someone did well with like the tall dude one. I think it might be this one. No, it's not. There was like this one too. I think someone did well with this one as well. I think I saw this in one of Fuzzy's pie charts as well. So I don't know what it does, but we are getting the set. So we are getting the Koro set. So that's gonna be pretty exciting. And that's everything. So hope you guys enjoyed that. It's a lot of me talking. I had a lot to talk about. Got a lot of new decks, a new format. I got the Pride Cyclers. Kind of a lot to look forward to. I think it's gonna be a really fun set. I think we have a lot of good decks outside of Bob that are just fun to try out and play test with. But this is Worlds format basically we're looking at here. Basically the TLDR is that Bob's gonna be kind of on the top, and then everything else is gonna be right below it. Because Bob, I do think is truly, I truly believe it's gonna be the strongest deck to kind of have to fight. Yeah, you definitely have to beat that deck. Like I think that deck's gonna be strong. But it is possible that we might see something wild happen. We've seen Doji put we've seen old Doji. We had a Doji player make it through all the way to the top. So you never know. You never know with D. D is pretty wild sometimes. Anyway, that's everything that we looked at for today. Hope you guys enjoyed that. 50cards.shop, code orange if you need anything. We are about to go into set 7. There's also Shadowverse dropped a new set. We got other card games as well dropping sets, and on top of that, also 50 Cards has opened up Riftbound, which is the League of Legends card game that's coming out soon, so you can also start pre-ordering for that as well and start staying tuned. He just dropped this, so there's probably no pre-orders yet, but there will be pre-orders coming up. So if you want to try a new game, there's also access to that. It is an English game, so you can also play that as well. So there's plenty to do, plenty of things to use my code on and save yourself some money while you're doing it. Like, if card games are expensive, let's make it cheaper. All right, guys. Anyway, peace out. Zasvidanya. Subscribe, like, all the fun stuff. I'll see you guys in the future video. Bye.